was up in Connecticut, and we were there was brothers up there. They got food carts and stuff, and they be selling food because there was a parade up there, a Puerto Rican parade up there in Connecticut, right? And you had the cops all out there and shit, And actually, the cops are buying food from us. And they were coming up buying shish kebabs and hot dogs and hamburgers or whatever the hell we sold. And yep. They were buying our food. They were paying us off, right? But anyway, in the beginning, when I first came up there, and almost at the end, you had this military you had a couple military vehicles, and you had actual military guys armed to the T. All right? And basically what I did was, the last time I saw him, I had my camera, and I pulled that bad boy out, and I filmed him, man. And they saw me film. They didn't do nothing, man. I said, I'm gonna film these motherfuckers, man. I'm gonna film them, all right? And we can show you the film. Well, the film will be shown if the producer puts it up. But I actually got a film of them filming in there. Like I said, they saw me, man. So they gearing up for martial law, man. Among you Israelites and among you Edomites. You Edomites in the Bible Belt, because you crackers be reading the Bible. See, you know why it's going to be hard to really push that mark of the beast, but it's going to be pushed. Is because you have a lot of Edomites that are into the Bible. And they know about the mark of the beast. Now, a Baptist or a Methodist, he doesn't know nothing about the mark of the beast. They don't touch the book of Revelation, man. They sing and dance and act a goddamn fool. But you got these Edomites that they really get into the Bible, and they watch our videos, and they watch other videos, and they know that we're Israelites, man. So everything is coming to a head. You got that article out? Yep.
Yeah, this is an article entitled Blood Gang Vows to Kill More New Jersey Cops Until the National Guard is Called Out. It says
that's a whole, you don't even got to read no more. That's a whole setup, man. Now I'm going to read this, and you know what I got to do? I got to get together to make some copies, because I know brothers out there going to ask for this book, all right? This, by the way, this is written by a Hamite by the name of Mike. He's no longer with us, but, this is our information that he put in written form, okay? Anyway, the name of the book is The Mark of the Beast is the Chip. By Magus Mulos. And this is on chapter 6, entitled The Mark and Martial Law. And I might speak on this, I might bring this down and speak on this in the camp too, because we're in that time. And page 38, it says, I'm just going to read an excerpt from the book. It says, one instrument by which the RFID chip will become mandatory is through martial law. Martial law is the imposition of military rule, and I just read the definition in the Black's Law Dictionary. If you're a lawyer, if you study law, you know about the Black's Law Dictionary. All right? And it says the same exact thing. It says, is the imposition of military rule, whereas armed military troops and soldiers replace civil authorities. And then, if you notice, these cops are becoming militarized. And now they're receiving a, what do you call it, the MRAPs. What is it called? Mind resistant, look, put it in, go to Google. MRAPs. I think it's mind resistant, assault protected, something like that. It's an acronym. But while he's getting it, I'm gonna read this. It says military troops and soldiers replace civil authorities, faculty and personnel upon the discernment of martial law. Curfews are imposed, accompanied by the indefinite supervision or suspension of civil law, which is a constitution. The Constitution is a civil law. It's a law for the people. Civil rights and habeas corpus. If you look up the word habeas corpus, it's Latin, classic Latin, that means have the body. In other words, if you're locked up by a jurisdiction, you have a right to challenge the jurisdiction of that court and as to why, the reason why they're detaining you. And if they can't establish nature and cause, which is jurisdiction, they have to let you go. And that's what's called, like your lawyer would write a writ of habeas corpus. And that's called to get you out of jail. Okay? Permitting unlawful detention, that is detention lacking sufficient cause of evidence. In other words, what's this guy, Obama, he had signed that law. What's that law? What is that? The NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, and it was on New Year's Eve. I believe he was in Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken, and it was New Year's Eve 2012 going into 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And it basically said the law was already there. He just added on to the law. All right? He put an addendum to the law. And basically it said in the law, when you read it, it basically says they can arrest anybody. The authorities can arrest anybody and detain them by the mere fact that they accuse them of being a terrorist. So if you're walking down the street, you buy a bag of potato chips and an iced tea, they'll look at you, and the way you're walking, look, I think he's a terrorist. Let's lock his ass up. So that's one more step closer to martial law. And everything that they do is based on their laws, just like Hitler did. Everything he did, he had a law behind it. The law was behind him. You got that, Ak? You got something?
Yeah, the MRAP is a mine-resistant ambush protected vehicle.
That's okay. That's the acronym: mine-resistant ambush protected vehicle.
Yeah.
And all these different jurisdictions, these little local police, they're getting these MRAPs. Why are they getting all these MRAPs? And they're being given away. And I think the cost of one of them is like $6 million, if I'm not mistaken.
I think one of them went down the street at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. A black
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Well, that's the one that I filmed.
Yeah.
It looked like an MRAP. If it wasn't an MRAP, but it was a military assault vehicle, and you had guys standing with their firearms to the ready.
Yeah.
Looking like they were ready for a damn battle.
It looked like an invasion. I got some information. Like Elatar mentioned about these Latin tribes being brought up here to be the new Negroes. Well, they got a program for you so-called Negroes. There's an article called 21 Million Negroes, FEMA and Martial Law. Now, this is dated August 20th, 2005. It says, I just came across something that has frankly frightened me more deeply than almost anything I've discovered lately about our own beloved Republican leadership. It says, let me just get right to the point. A Miami Herald article on the 5th of July, 1987 reported that the former FEMA's directors, Louis Dreyfus, Deputy John Brinkerhoff, handled the martial law portion of the planning. The planning was said to be similar to one Mr. Dreyfus had developed earlier to combat a national uprising of black militants. It provided for the detention of at least 21 million American Negroes in assembly centers or relocation camps. Today, Mr. Brinkerhoff is with the highly influential Answer Institute for Homeland Security, following a request by the Pentagon in January that the U.S. military be allowed the option of deploying troops on American streets. Now, like I said, at that Puerto Rican Day Parade, it looked like an invasion. It looked like an American troop was on the street. You had that MRAP that went down the street, And on the back of the MRAP, you had a couple of soldiers. They looked like soldiers. They had those guns with them. They had the bulletproof vest. They had the whole full military gear. Besides your local police, and that's just for a parade, a Puerto Rican Day parade. So can you imagine when the dollar has dropped and martial law is in full effect? I mean, they're going to come out like gangbusters, man.
Yeah, that's just their way of getting people used to seeing the military.
Yeah, conditioning.
Yeah, conditioning.
And like Elder Round